Hi, Miss Field. So, this is video blog number 1. It's gonna be a struggle, but here we go. Okay, so right now in my research project, I'm kind of just actually still trying to decide which question I'm gonna further investigate. So right now my research questions are, how can education be improved for those attending state schools in Cape Town, South Africa? That's the first one. And the second one is, why do women have a hard time accessing education in Malaysia? So I've done a little background searching on both, and both questions have a lot of different sources, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm more interested in right now so that I can write on that and make it a good 15-page research paper. And I know I shouldn't be really thinking about the paper itself right now, but it helps me to think about more long-term things. So I'm just trying to see what I'd really be more interested in. I have 3 sources for each question, and I've read a little bit into those, so I know kind of a little bit of background about both of them. Again, I just have to choose, and I've been trying to choose. I can't get a sense until I do more research, which is going to be easier for me to talk about in a way I understand fully, and I guess a way that's just which issue really interests me. So, I don't know, but that's what I have so far on that. I picked these two because, you know, we have to talk about education and just focus on the global issue of education. So, I'm taking global issues, Asia, so we were kind of talking or learning about some of the Southeastern Asia countries, and Malaysia was in that mix, and I'm blanking on a name, but we all had to do little research projects on each country, and the sophomore that had Malaysia found that there's a big, not exactly opposition, but there's a big discrepancy, I think is the word I'm looking for, between males and females, and not their lifestyle, but I guess how they're treated. There we go. How they're treated, and I guess their roles in society, which affects their access to education, especially women. And I've also seen a TED Talk about access to education for women, but I wanted to really get a specific area down, so figured Malaysia would have a lot to work with, and I don't really know a lot about Malaysia. And then I picked, I stumbled upon the education, how it can be improved for those attending state schools in Cape Town, South Africa, because I visited South Africa last year. I visited a school, the Red Hills Preschool, and I just fell in love with that cause of, or not exactly a cause, but I just fell in love with the children there and how they were so excited to learn. Even though they weren't really learning impressive stuff. They're little kids, but they were just so excited to learn what they were learning in the poor conditions they had, and that really, kind of hit home for me. So that's something I'm really interested in investigating, and how that can be improved for them. That's something I really care about. So let's see. I've talked about my questions. I've talked about how I got there. I've talked about what research I've done. Sorry, I'm scrolling because I'm not good at keeping track of what I need to talk about. So, I talked about resources. Research and sources. Oh, resources. Okay, so that brings me to my next topic, resources. So we've learned obviously, about a lot of different stuff in class, a lot of stuff to learn. And usually I don't get really overwhelmed, but I found myself the past couple days just being like, whoa, okay. If, like, this is water, hypothetically, I'm just like, because, you know, that's just a lot of information. And I know, like, my generation or whatever is, you know, the technology generation, and we're always having a cell phone in our hand, or an iPad or iPod, all this stuff. But, like, it's, unless you know how to really use all this stuff, like, all these cool sites, like, it's really difficult to learn. Like, it's just as difficult for us to learn, I think. So I've kind of struggled with some of that. I mean, the tools we've been using in class, like, mostly are Diigo, Google Reader, Flipboard I've used a couple times, and then just the Global Studies Diploma, the blog itself, and WordPress, I guess, a little bit, and then all of the, YouTube, too, and, hey, this, but yeah, mostly those. The only thing I'm really having trouble with right now is just, I mean, we've been talking about it a lot in class, but the Mac and Google kind of fight, you know, how it's really hard to access a lot of things that are owned by Google through the iPad. And I mean, that's frustrating, but I don't really mind doing what I can on the iPad and coming home and just going at it on the computer. I know I will later, but that's like a time thing, so if I can just spread out my work as evenly as I'm hoping I'm going to. I always say I will, but I kind of have a little trouble, you know, get myself to do it, but I'm going to really try this time. So if I can actually do that, then I think that, you know, it'll work out for me. So I think that was one of the only things I'm having trouble with, and the other thing would be Diigo, but mostly just because, I mean, I've had to use it for a lot of my global issues classes, and I've used it for an AP Lit paper too, but I don't know, I can't really get into using Diigo, but that's just because I can't learn, like, or I can't comprehend things as easily if I have to sit and stare at a screen and just highlight like that. Like, I have to literally take notes in the margins and stuff, so that might put me at a little bit of a disadvantage. But as for marking and keeping track of all the sites, I think Diigo would be a good thing for me to use. I just have to actually get into the habit of using it first. I think that, I guess, keeping everything online is going to help me be more organized, because, I mean, you don't want to see the inside of my backpack right now, let me tell you. Second semester senioritis, not even going to lie. But, so I think it's good that, like, I don't have a bunch of loose leaf paper, notes everywhere, struggling to find a pencil kind of thing going on. I like how everything's just on the blog, and it's on that one page, and I can just work on everything there. I like having the iPads because it's just, everything is at my fingertips, you know what I mean? I don't know, I really like that personally. I know some people get frustrated with it, but I like it. So I think I've gone over everything, actually, which wasn't that hard to do in 8 minutes. I was, like, planning how I was gonna just make some weird faces at you, you know, like this one. Or this one. Sounds, too. I'm good at that. I'm good at being awkward. But, okay. So I've hit everything on the checklist that we were supposed to talk about, I think. Well, everything I have down. So I guess that's it. That's where I am right now with this process, and I hope to, you know, move forward. So